Here on the Las Vegas Sports Network, we've got former world champion Keyshawn Davis with us on the air. Keyshawn getting ready to headline Top Rank's first ever bout on DAZN against Nahir Alrbight, a rematch. Well, first of all, Keyshawn, thanks so much for joining us. How you feeling?
I feel amazing. Thank you.
And so there's a little bit of backstory in this rematch with Nahir Alrbight. Obviously, you defeated him in the ring when it happened, and then, of course, ended up being overturned by the commission because you had tested positive for marijuana use at the time, right?
Yes.
So, first of all, going through that and now getting the chance for a redemption, how are you approaching this?
Well, first of all, I ain't smoking no more. But honestly, I'm just treating this like any other fight. I know what I need to do to get prepared. Even when I wasn't even focused, I knew what I need to do to at least win a fight. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a better Keyshawn now. I'm not up and coming no more. I'm a former world champion. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to show in the fight, May 16th.
Absolutely, and especially when that happened, I'm sure that took a mental toll on you, especially that was at the very beginning of your rise, right? So when that did happen, how did you kind of battle that mentally as you still had to show up every day in the gym, I'm sure, and get ready for your other fights?
Honestly, I just had to refocus myself. I had to just tell myself that, I gotta stay focused, or something like that is gonna continue to happen, and it was definitely tough for probably about 2 days, and then after a while, I got off the media. I just stopped paying attention to all the unnecessary stuff. I started listening to myself, and I just got back training, and the fight after that, I fought Pedraza.
Yeah, absolutely, and as we call it, I guess, would you even consider it a climb back when something like that happens and you have to get yourself back on track when it comes to like making sure you're winning fights and continue your rise in the sport?
I climb back mentally for sure. Like physically, I have the potential to be the greatest of all time. Bob Aaron words, So it was just a climb back mentally, refocusing myself and focusing on things that just really matters, and that's just winning.
Absolutely, and you're coming off a great fight. You knocked down Jermaine Ortiz. When you look back at that fight, what do you kind of look for when you're watching your own fights, when you're watching film, and what did you notice about yourself in that one that was different than maybe your other fights?
I noticed that just being in there for the first time in almost a year, I was rushing a lot of shots. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really get settled into the fight until about round 8 or 9. And that's when I really started placing my shots and landing the shots that I really wanted to land. So coming into this fight, I expect that I will be better coming into it, honestly. And not rushing too much things, but, just let things flow within the fight and getting that stoppage for sure.
Yeah, especially because as you mentioned before that fight, it had been almost a whole year since you had been in the ring. How important is it as a fighter to make sure you do have those fights in between and making sure at least you're staying busy, not just in the gym, but when, the lights are on and you're in the ring?
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely one of those, stay busy fights, you know what I'm saying, in the middle of the year. And just, having another opportunity to show the world that I can still stop guys that never been stopped before, which is my opponent right here. He's going to be number 4 that I stopped in a row. And they're going to keep saying that I'm going to be one of the greatest of all time after this fight.
Here with Keyshawn Davis in the Las Vegas Sports Network, who's going to get ready to take on Nahir Alrbight, the rematch. How interesting is it when you already fought somebody, so you know them, kind of know their tendencies in the ring, but they also know yours because they were in the ring with you. How do you kind of prepare for something like that, knowing that?
I feel like, honestly, with me, I get better within every training camp and every fight, and I feel like it shows. I feel like if I do the same thing every fight, then I wouldn't be able to get these stoppages because these fighters that have more experience than me will adjust to my previous fight. So I just feel like I just keep getting better, and the best Keyshawn is always going to get that stoppage. It's May 16th.
You talk about your preparedness and your readiness for this fight. On top of that, Top Rank just signed a deal with DAZN. A lot of the major promotion companies are on DAZN in the past. I guess maybe it's getting better recently in the sport of boxing. It's been difficult to make these big fights, right, because of the business side of things. With Top Rank being on DAZN, you being the first fight on DAZN for Top Rank, how great is it for the sport to know that there's a lot more togetherness when it comes to promoters and making big fights like this one?
Shoot, if you want me to be honest, man, I'm just like a fighter, man. At the end of the day, fighters can only call out fights, but we can't actually make them happen. It comes down to the promotional company to actually make that happen. So I just stay in my own lane and just continue to call out fighters and hope that one of these fighters do take my call out. You know, but what people really gotta realize is fighters nowadays don't make fights, which is unfortunate. Unless we at that superstar status like a Terrence Crawford and a Canelo, they was able to make that fight because they have longevity in this game. But you know, for a lot of fighters out here, even the ones that considered stars, still can't make these big fights happen. It's all up to the promotional company, and if they willing to make the fight happen. So, as far as me, I'm gonna keep putting on amazing fights, no matter what kind of opponent in there with me. I feel like that's what the fans love about me, my charisma, and I also back what I say up. I back it up every single time. So, as far as me, I feel like I'm gonna keep getting these fights made, whether it's big or small. They're gonna love to see me in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. May 16th, going to be a big one, of course. And this one's going to be in your hometown, right? In Norfolk, Virginia. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. We were talking about it before. I want to make sure I say it correctly. How excited are you for this opportunity to, as you say, put on a good performance in front of your hometown?
Man, fighting in front of my hometown is always like exciting, you know, like I be walking out and seeing like teachers that used to teach me and stuff, like in middle school and stuff, you know. My whole family come down from New York. I got family in DC, and of course my family in Virginia, so like it's always exciting. I don't understand why people be like it's harder for them to fight in their hometown. I don't understand it. Like, I done traveled the world in countries, different countries, and the country was going against me, and I still go out there and win. You know what I'm saying? So fighting in my hometown is like so much more comfortable. I feel like my best performances come from me fighting in my hometown, and I just can't wait to do it all over again.
And how cool is it, I'm sure, when you go back and you do these fights, you see like young kids who were like you, and you're bringing boxing, a high caliber level of boxing, to your hometown. How cool is that for you to be able to put on for your people?
It's very cool, man. Like, it's very inspiring for the kids, and like literally that's what I stand for. I stand for kids and giving them motivation, giving them something to look forward to, you know. And I'm happy I'm blessed that God put me in this position to live out my dream, and that's just to inspire people with what I love to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a blessing also that I'm actually super great at what I do too.
That does help. That does help for sure. Here with Keyshawn Davis. We're here on Radio Row. David Benavidez, Surdo Ramirez are fighting this weekend, Cinco de Mayo weekend. What do you think of the fight? Who's going to come out on top? If you're putting money on it, what would you be putting money on?
You can't go against the Mexican monster, what they call him.
Yep.
Like, you can't go against him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a fantastic fighter. And I don't care who he up against. Like, I'm going for David Benavidez. I like his mentality. I like his swag he comes to the ring with. He's great for the sport of boxing, you know. So he also always show me love when I see him. So like, not being biased, he can fight at the end of the day. But David Benavidez is definitely gonna win this fight.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to your fight, May 16th. If you can't get tickets, it's going to be the first top-ranked fight on DAZN. Keyshawn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.